So, tell me about yourself. Ugh, Thomas, honestly, that simple sentence creates more anxiety than skydiving without a parachute. It feels like the air just leaves the room.
It really is the ultimate opening line, isn't it? It sounds so friendly, so harmless. Just tell me about yourself. But make no mistake, listeners, it isn't a casual starter. It is a test, a huge test. And honestly, it's often where the interview is won or lost. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Learn Speak English podcast. I'm Thomas.
And I'm Ryan. Today, we aren't just teaching you vocabulary. We are tackling a beast, the MBA interview, specifically that crucial first impression.
Learn, Speak, English, the podcast.
If you are listening to this, you likely have a vision. You can see it, can't you? Walking through the doors of Harvard, Wharton, LBS, or INSEAD. You can imagine the network, the career pivot, the salary bump. But standing between you and that future is one person, the admissions officer.
And they have heard it all. They are tired, they are skeptical, and they are looking for a reason to say no so they can move on to the next application. Your job is to make it impossible for them to stop listening.
Precisely. Today is your survival guide. We are going to break down the psychology of the interview, look at the terrible mistakes most applicants make, and give you a step-by-step formula to turn your introduction into a hook that grabs them by the collar.
I love that visual. So, Thomas, we work with hundreds of high-performing students preparing for these interviews. Let's get real for a second. What is the absolute number one problem you see when they try to introduce themselves?
Oh, it's painful, Ryan. It's what I call the chronological bore, or as you like to call it,
The ramble.
the ramble. Yes.
It's tragic. You ask them, tell me about yourself, and they treat it like an audio version of their CV. They start with where they were born, then talk about high school, then list every single task they did in their first job. And 10 minutes later, the interviewer is mentally planning their lunch.
Exactly. Listeners, if you take one thing away from today, an MBA interview isn't a biography. It's a sales pitch. It is an argument for your future potential. You need to connect the dots, not just list them.
Right. You need a narrative. You need to trigger what we call the hidden desire of the interviewer. They don't just want a smart student. They want a future leader. They want to discover the next CEO. You need to present yourself as that discovery.
Before we get to the solution, let's look at the skeleton. We did some digging into what top business schools actually expect. The interview usually follows a 5-part structure.
Right? Here's the roadmap. Visualize this so you aren't surprised on the big day. 1. The icebreaker. Small talk to settle the nerves. Don't underestimate this. 2. The introduction. Usually, walk me through your resume or tell me about yourself. 3. The why. Why an MBA? Why now? Why this specific school? 4. Behavioral questions. Tell me about a time you led a team, failed, or solved a conflict. And 5. Closing. Questions you have for the interviewer.
Today, we are focusing heavily on part 2, the introduction. This sets the tone. If you nail the intro, your dopamine levels rise, you feel confident, and the rest flows. If you stumble here, you spend the next 30 minutes digging yourself out of a hole.
So, instead of just talking about it, let's show them. I want to try something different today, Thomas. I want to show the listeners what a bad answer looks like first, because I think a lot of people are doing this without realizing it's wrong.
Excellent idea. Let's set the scene. You are the applicant. Let's call him Alex. He's smart, he's an engineer, but he has no strategy. I will be the admissions officer. Good morning, Alex. Thank you for joining me today. I've reviewed your application, but I'd love to hear it from you directly. Could you please walk me through your resume?
Oh, yes, sure. Well, I was born in Ohio. I went to high school there where I was good at math. Then I went to university to study civil engineering because my dad was an engineer. In my first year of university, I did an internship at a small construction firm where I filed papers and checked blueprints. Then, after I graduated with a 3.8 GPA, I got a job at a large infrastructure firm. For the first year, I did structural analysis. Then, in the second year, I did project coordination. Then, I got promoted to project manager. I manage budgets and timelines, and, now I want an MBA to learn business.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Alex.
Wow, even I got bored saying that.
That was painful, Ryan. But here is the scary part. 80% of the first drafts I hear sound exactly like that.
Listeners, I want you to pause for a second. Be honest with yourself. Does your current introduction sound a bit like that? Just a list of facts? I did this, then I did this, then I did this.
If it does, don't worry. That's why you are here. Let's analyze why that failed. First, there was no hook. It started with, I was born in Ohio. Unless you were born on a spaceship, nobody cares about the geography of your birth in a business interview. Second, there was no pathos, no emotion, no passion. It was robotic. Third, and most importantly, there was no why. It was just a list of what.
It lacked a golden thread. That's a concept we talk about in persuasion. You need a central theme that ties your life together.
Exactly. So, how do we fix it? We use a structure we call past, present, future. But we add a secret ingredient, the turning point.
The turning point is key. It's the bridge. It's the moment you realized your current path wasn't enough and you needed the MBA. This agitates the problem and presents the MBA as the only logical solution.
Let's break down the formula. The past. Briefly mention your background, but focus on the passion or the skill that drives you. Not just the job title. The present. What are you doing now? And here is the secret. What is the limitation of your current role? This is your pain point. The turning point. The specific realization that you need to change. The future. How the MBA solves that pain and launches you into your dream career.
I love that. It turns the answer into a story. A story has conflict and resolution. The conflict is your lack of business skills, and the resolution is the MBA.
Precisely. Shall we try it again?
Let's do it. I'm going to be good Alex this time. Same resume, same facts, but completely different persuasion strategy.
Action. Good morning, Alex. Thank you for joining me today. I've reviewed your application, but I'd love to hear it from you directly. Could you please walk me through your resume?
Ideally. Well, my background is originally in civil engineering. I've always been fascinated by how complex systems work together to build something tangible. For the past 4 years, I've been working as a project manager at a large infrastructure firm in California.
I see. And what was your main focus there?
Initially, I focused purely on technical execution, making sure the buildings didn't fall down. However, halfway through my tenure, I led a cross-functional team to digitize our supply chain. That was a huge turning point for me.
Oh, how so?
I realized I enjoyed the strategic side, solving business problems through technology, much more than the actual construction. But that experience also highlighted a gap in my skill set. While I have the technical engineering foundation, I lack the formal business toolkit to make high-level strategic decisions. That brings me to why I'm here today. I want to leverage an MBA to pivot from engineering project management into product management in the technology sector.
Excellent. That makes perfect sense. Thank you, Alex.
Okay, cut. That felt completely different.
Night and day, Ryan. That was textbook. Really solid. Let's break down why that worked for our listeners using the principles of persuasion.
First off, I established ethos, or authority, immediately. I didn't just say, I'm an engineer. I said, I've always been fascinated by how complex systems work. That shows intellectual curiosity.
Correct. Then you moved to the present, but, and this is the crucial part, you identified a turning point. You mentioned the supply chain digitization.
Right, this is the bridge. I connected my past, engineering, to my future business. I explained the logic behind the career change. Without this, an admissions officer might think, why does this engineer want to work in tech? He knows nothing about it.
Exactly. You agitated the problem. You admitted a weakness. I lack the formal business toolkit. This is powerful vulnerability. It shows self-awareness, and it sets up the MBA as the hero of the story.
And finally, the future. I explicitly stated my goal, to pivot.
Listeners, did you hear that word? Pivot. To pivot. In the business world, this means to change direction in your career. It's a great C1 level verb to use.
Also, I use the word leverage. I want to leverage an MBA. This means to use something to your maximum advantage, much better than just saying, I want to use an MBA.
And notice the subtlety. You didn't beg for a spot. You explained how the MBA fits into your plan. You showed consistency. Psychologically, people are drawn to those who have a clear plan. It triggers the principle of authority. You sounded like a man who knows where he is going.
Let's play that clip one more time. I want you guys to close your eyes. Focus on the transition. Listen for the phrase, that was a turning point for me.
Action. Good morning, Alex. Thank you for joining me today. I've reviewed your application, but I'd love to hear it from you directly. Could you please walk me through your resume?
Ideally. Well, my background is originally in civil engineering. I've always been fascinated by how complex systems work together to build something tangible. For the past 4 years, I've been working as a project manager at a large infrastructure firm in California.
I see. And what was your main focus there?
Initially, I focused purely on technical execution, making sure the buildings didn't fall down. However, halfway through my tenure, I led a cross-functional team to digitize our supply chain. That was a huge turning point for me.
Oh, how so?
I realized I enjoyed the strategic side, solving business problems through technology, much more than the actual construction. But that experience also highlighted a gap in my skill set. While I have the technical engineering foundation, I lack the formal business toolkit to make high-level strategic decisions. That brings me to why I'm here today. I want to leverage an MBA to pivot from engineering project management into product management in the technology sector.
Excellent. That makes perfect sense. Now, before we move to the practice session, I want to address something I see in the comments a lot. A major objection.
I think I know which one. Is it the I don't have a cool story objection?
Exactly. We often hear, but Thomas, I'm just an accountant, or I'm just a marketing coordinator. I haven't digitized a supply chain. My story is boring.
I hear that all the time. I'm not special. Listen, that is imposter syndrome talking.
It is, and it's false. Persuasion isn't about having a Hollywood life. It's about how you frame the ordinary. You have to find the drama in the details.
For example, if you are an accountant, don't say, I check spreadsheets. Say, I investigate financial data to find stories hidden in the numbers that save companies millions. See the difference?
Brilliant. It's about agitation. Raise the stakes of what you do. Every job solves a problem. Focus on the problem you solve, not the tasks you do.
Listeners, I have a challenge for you right now. Pause this episode for 10 seconds. Think about your current job. Don't think about the title. Think about the problem you solve. What is the pain you fix for your company? That is the seed of your introduction.
Do it. We'll wait. Okay, hopefully you have that seed. Now, we can't let you leave without training your muscles. We are going to do a quick shadowing exercise.
Yes, this is where you work out your mouth muscles. Persuasion is also about delivery. It's about tone, speed, and confidence.
We will use the yes set technique here implicitly. By getting you to say these positive, confident phrases, you actually start to feel more confident. I will say a phrase from the interview, then Ryan will repeat it to show the intonation, and then we will leave silence for you.
Try to copy our speed. Don't be robotic. Feel the meaning.
Phrase 1. Focus on the passion. I've always been fascinated by how complex systems work.
I've always been fascinated by how complex systems work.
Good. Phrase 2. The turning point. Emphasize the word gap. That experience highlighted a gap in my skill set.
That experience highlighted a gap in my skill set.
Excellent. Phrase 3. The goal. Strong and clear. I want to pivot from engineering to product management.
I want to pivot from engineering to product management. Nice work. I can hear the confidence building from here.
One more detail on delivery, Ryan. We talked about the words, but what about the voice? In persuasion, we call this congruence.
Right. If you say, I am passionate about business, but your voice is flat and low, nobody believes you. Your voice has to match your words.
When you practice your intro, record yourself. Listen back. Do you sound excited? Do you sound certain? Or do you sound like you are asking for permission?
You need to speak to the brain, as we say. Use the downward inflection at the end of sentences. If you go up at the end, like this, it sounds like a question. It sounds weak.
Exactly. Go down at the end. I am here to get an MBA. Period. That signals authority.
Before we wrap up, Thomas, we promised our listeners the key secrets to actually passing these interviews. We analyzed advice from top MBA admissions consultants, the gatekeepers themselves, and 3 principles stood out.
These align perfectly with the psychology of influence.
Number 1, authenticity, the principle of liking. Don't try to be the perfect student. Admissions officers want to know who you are. If you failed at something, admit it.
Vulnerability creates connection. If you say, I started a business and it failed because I didn't know marketing, the interviewer thinks, wow, he's honest. He's teachable. If you say, I am perfect, they think, he's lying.
Number 2, the STAR method, the principle of logic. When you answer those behavioral questions later in the interview, like, tell me about a challenge, do not ramble. Use the structure: situation, task, action, result. It keeps your brain organized and makes it easy for them to follow your logic.
And number 3, specificity, the principle of scarcity and flattery. Do your homework on the school. Never give a generic answer.
If you say, I want to go to Wharton because it's a good school, you fail. Everyone says that.
Instead, say, I want to go to Wharton to take Professor Diamond's class on negotiation because I need those specific skills for my future role.
Boom. Specificity equals credibility. It shows you care enough to research. It triggers the principle of reciprocity. You took the time to learn about them, so they will take the time to listen to you.
Ideally. Remember, an interview is just a conversation between two professionals. It feels high stakes, but if you prepare your story, connect the dots using the past, present, future bridge, and breathe, you will be unstoppable.
You've got this. We want to hear from you. We want to create a bit of social proof in our community.
Exactly. Go to the comments section right now. We want to know your goal. Tell us, what is the pivot you are trying to make? Are you an engineer moving to finance? A teacher moving to marketing?
Writing it down is a form of commitment. It makes it real. So drop a comment below. For example, you can write, I am a business analyst looking to pivot into a leadership role with greater strategic responsibility. Let's support each other.
And if you found this role play helpful and you want us to break down the behavioral questions in the next episode, please subscribe and share this episode with one friend who is also struggling with their career path.
Don't let them struggle alone. Thanks for listening, guys. Go practice that intro.
See you next time.
Goodbye.